All right, so gonna do kind of a recap of not like a recap of market, but where I predict price is gonna go for the week. So obviously, probably want to start on the daily time farm. So this is from this week. Obviously, we see we swept out Tuesday's low, had a nice move down, and continued on your way on the way up. I kind of want to see the continuation of that trend. There's not that much bullish imbalance that's been necessarily left behind. Obviously, we have it way down here. We have some imbalance left here, but other than that, there's not really any recent imbalances. Obviously, this was pretty equal. We did create all-time highs. We closed as a bullish candle. Scaling down to the 4-hour time frame, we see a lot of the same thing here, except we ended up closing bearish. We still have quite a bit of this imbalance left here. We still have over half of it on the 4-hour time frame that hasn't been tapped into yet. Obviously, we somewhat respected it here towards the end or towards the New York session of Friday. But a lot of it we see is some balance, some bullish imbalance left here. And price kind of entering this order block here. We entered it and had a pretty strong move up. Scaling down to the hourly time frame, I see more or less a lot of the same thing here. We did have a gap here that got filled in pretty much right away from Asia session, so I figured that was going to happen in the first place. But for as it were prices, we do have quite the strong draws of liquidity down here at these lows. We do kind of have it up here at these highs as well. I don't necessarily worry too much, like with how much news is coming up next week. I'll go over that as well. Uh, it's kind of hard for me to judge where I think price is necessarily going to go. Now, inevitably, I think we are going to sweep out these lows here for the buyers holding. We have clearly a lot of resting orders below here with the size of this candle left, and it's not a news candle. We do also have these highs as well that we swept out and had a really nice move down during the last move in New York session. So we left those highs. We did close very bearish. I have a feeling price is probably going to uh, open up somewhere down in this void down here, right around this area. I think is where price is going to open come Monday. But come no, actually tomorrow around 6 p.m. when Asia session opens. But as you can see, we did have a lot of accumulation, so that was kind of the play here. Obviously, we see this was a valid search and destroy day. We have accumulation, manipulation, distribution. This one also accumulation, manipulation, distribution, right? So we see a lot of that. I don't really like trade necessarily this way, but I mean, I literally will just use this just to highlight the sessions. Obviously, you see it's really easy to mark. I don't have to be like, oh, so this is when New York session would have opened. This is when it would have closed, right? I can just literally hide it and unhide it, and I can see when the sessions are. So that's why I have it. But like I said, we have two really strong draws of liquidity here. Same thing, it shows on the 4-hour as well. So these are really strong draws of liquidity. I think price is going to end up sweeping one of these out. But really, it all comes down to what information we are given when market opens. I'm not super concerned about it as of right now. But obviously, there are some things to look out to for these sweeps. So when it comes to news, however, we do have quite the bit for this upcoming week. So as we can see here, this is for Thursday the 19th. Sorry, I'm already ripping through this here. I was already looking through it. So Monday, we have PMI at 9:45 a.m. Terrible time, I'm not gonna lie. As we can see it, I mean 9:45 is just awful time. Moving into Tuesday, we have retail sales at 8:30. A little bit better of a day to trade. Obviously, it's in the morning, so it won't affect too much. We'll probably get we'll get one of our candles here. I'll look for one of those. Yeah, one of these here. Day before we had PMI as well, so we'll get one of our larger candles at opening, but it probably won't be that affected. Moving into Wednesday, we have CPI, or no, we have Fed funds rate. This is all afternoon stuff. It is quite a bit, but it is afternoon, so if you trade afternoon session, you're probably gonna want to sit out that day with how much I know the macro is. I can't recall exactly when it is, 150 to 210. Probably wrong, but that's what I'm thinking. Thursday, we have a lot of news again. We have unemployment in the morning, so a little bit better to trade in the afternoon. And then Friday we have PCE at 8:30 as well. So we have a little bit of news everywhere this week. Honestly, it's not all these 8:30 folders. Like I said, we have the 2 p.m., we have a 9:45, and then we have a couple 8:30. So a lot of news this week. Obviously, be super careful with these. With news, we can see, sometimes price just didn't even do. It didn't give us any information, right? Like this is a good example. Wednesday, price was just ripping up. I mean, there was no liquidity sweep, so actually, we'll go through it real quick here on Wednesday. This was like I didn't trade this day because there was just nothing there for me. So we'll go over here to Wednesday, which I believe is this. Yeah. So I was really eyeing these lows here, which is a common theme with December price action. So we have London session lows, which I mean you could have considered any of these to be the low. Really, it's not very defined. But I mean, look, I mean, end of London session just pumps, and New York session just pumps. I mean, it's so hard to trade that. That's why I sat out that day. I remember because there's no sweep. I mean, obviously, you see this fair value gap, you're like, oh, we see a fair value gap. What did price do? Tapped into it and respected it, right? So that's not obviously enough confluence for me. There's no break of structure to the upside because price is already moving that way. Could have got an entry over here, but again, that is so late into New York and into when I trade at least. There's no point of waiting that long. This also was a day that was terrible. I mean, I don't even know what to call this. This is the worst price action I've ever seen. I was really looking for that day to be bearish overall. I mean, I don't even know what this is. I mean, there's literally no movement here. But Friday we had a really good. I had a really good short here that I took off pretty strong break of structure to the downside over here after this liquidity sweep. We swept all time highs here. We had a sweep. We had a retest back up after we broke these lows here and had a really good move up. So that's actually what I'm maybe looking for, our retests. I see that quite often, especially after liquidity sweeps. So I'll kind of go over that actually too while I'm at it. So obviously we have this high formed here. We get a liquidity sweep. We are also within this very nice bearish order block as well. But you could honestly also consider this to be a bearish order block. So either way, we're within a bearish order block. But this one is already a good ways down from the move. So we scale down to the 1 minute time frame. Obviously, we get this kind of initial, so we have this high here, we get this initial move down, we get a retracement back up well within equilibrium. So this was kind of like where I actually entered. So if I can find the fib retracement tool, yep. So obviously we have price being at a premium after break of structure. So we had a break of structure to the downside right here, enough confirmation for me to enter. And then I think I just targeted like the bottom of this order block right here. But obviously still a really good trade. So that's something I've noticed is a lot of these retracements, obviously marking it out as somewhat valid, is these break of structures to the downside and then retracements. So that's what I look for. A little bit stronger market structure shift for these kind of like bigger areas, right? This closure below this low here would kind of be a little bit more confirmation. But we saw a severe sell off here on New York session. So obviously, like I said, a couple really strong draws of liquidity where I think price is going to end up, moving towards. We have this one here, right, where New York session closed over here. We have that low mark there. So obviously, we still have a little bit of an imbalance left here. This bullish imbalance that's going to inevitably going to get filled in. But we can also have like we had the other week where we had an opening week gap and price just flooded it like a magnet. Yeah. This was right here. This was like so easy to see. So um for how bad I want that to happen on Monday, I'm pretty much already mentally sitting out Monday with news. So because yeah, having that at 9:45 in the morning is really hard because I like trading obviously in the macro between 10:10 and between 9:50 and 10:10. But if news comes out 5 minutes before and I usually wait an hour, like that's going against my trading plan. So that's what I'm really focusing on is the trading plan and following it, especially with this being a funded challenge. So gonna be going into next week. Very uh confident this week. I know my strategy works. It's just if I follow my trading plan, right? If I follow my strategy. If I wait for a liquidity sweep, I wait for price to enter order block in that direction. So we get a liquidity sweep to the upside or within a bearish order block. I'll wait for a strong break of structure to the downside. I might even add a retracement because it seems like every single time there is a retracement after confirmation that we did a market structure shift to the downside. So we get, obviously, I'll kind of like draw a little picture out here. We get, we get a new high formed or a new low. We get a low here. We move up. We get a confirmation that price broke structure to the downside here. We get a retracement back up before price breaks above here, and then price continues to move back down. So that's what I want to catch, is this back move. I am pretty good with catching these initial moves, actually. So here, I'll remove this. So I have actually, like, a lot of my winning trades I have noticed. So we get a new high formed here. We do a bunch of bullshit. We sweep this. So we sweep these highs, we confirmation and liquidity sweep to the upside. Or within this last leg up before the move down. So we are within a bearish order block once price moves back down. And then price will tend to, so obviously we get a structure shift. We break these lows here, so we get even more confirmation. We get price and retest back in here and move back down. So that's what I get. But a lot of times I will catch this initial move right here. But it seems like, if you really want to eat, you got to catch this retracement back. So either way works. Either way, I hit take profit usually because I don't really target that big of RR due to this being a $50,000 funded account. So I don't like need to hit a home run. But that's just what I look for. So that's pretty much it for this video. But I obviously will be giving more updates and whatnot. Like I said, we got a lot of news coming up this week. So be passive this week.